it's an acknowledgement of appreciation for my music. And that's incredible considering, like, last May, no one even knew who I was or anything. And now the people in the industry, you know, that I'm in are nominating me for the highest award that there is in this industry. So it's incredible.
By 1991, Alfred and Patricia's youngest daughter, Mariah Carey, thanks to the success of her eponymously titled debut album, was a multi-platinum Grammy Award-winning artist, and many a journalist wondered if the songbird would embark on a tour. Before winning her first Grammys, she began recording material for a new album rather than beginning rehearsals for her first tour, as Columbia was following the marketing form that was popular in the 60s when an act released an album every year. She also voiced reservations about touring. On August 13th, Columbia issued her new album's lead single, Emotions. The track touted a groove inspired by The Emotions and a house meets gospel production by label mates David Cole and Robert Clivilles of CNC Music Factory. By that time, her debut album had sold nearly 6 million copies. 6 days later, she performed the track at the VMAs. 12 days later, her second album will be released to retailers, proving that Mariah didn't know nothing about no sophomore jinx.
You know, I decided to put the album out so quickly after the first album because I felt that I was growing as an artist, and I wanted to show that and get that out there. I wrote a lot of the second album right when Vision of Love, the first single from my first album, came out. I hadn't really had major success yet, so it wasn't like, oh, I have to follow up this big debut album. She hasn't toured, and I'm like, calm down, it's not that big a deal. Because I put out 2 albums back to back that I didn't really have time to put together a tour like most people would have been doing. It was just me writing for my personal enjoyment and from inside. So I didn't have time to really overthink it.
During the production of the album, she and previous collaborator Ben Margulies had a falling out due to Ben wanting more than Sonny was willing to pay a co-writer. He even filed suit. She chose to work with different producers, with the only holdover being Walter Asanaieff. She developed a unique musical relationship with him, whilst also being granted more creative input on the project. This go-round, there was a deliberately less production-heavy, more raw 50s and 60s inspired soundscape with traces of doo-wop, pop, gospel, and house music. Mariah co-wrote all 10 of the tracks. Although Mariah and Ben Margulies fell out, the same could not be said about Mariah and Sony Music CEO Tommy Mottola, as she accompanied him in a rather hot pink number to the Police Athletic League dinner at the Plaza Hotel in June. The first track, Emotions, was among the 4 songs written and produced by David Cole and Robert Clivilles. Track 4, Make It Happen, was another. The 6th track, You're So Cold, which was written by Mariah and David. And the 8th track, To Be Around You, which was also written by Mariah and David. Mariah and Walter Asanaieff co-wrote 4 songs and produced 6. The 2nd track, And You Don't Remember. The 3rd track, Can't Let Go. The 7th track, So Blessed. The 9th track, To the End of Time. The 5th track, If It's Over, which was co-written by the Carole King, produced by Asanaieff and Mariah. And the final track, The Wind. On August 1st, at the Tavern on Green, Sonny threw an album release party. On the 29th, under the direction of Jeff Priest, she shot the video for Emotions, which featured the songstress and her friends kicking it, honey.
I feel really fortunate to have had all the success with my first album that I had, and it's been the most incredible year of my life with everything that's happened for me. But the most important thing is to make good music that I'm proud of. With this album, I had a lot better of an idea about how I wanted to go about recording it. It's just a lot more of me coming across, and I feel that I had the opportunity to let myself go and to be more true to myself as a singer and a songwriter, because I didn't have someone there telling me, well, maybe sing it like this, sing it like that. This new video that I just did was fun because there were a lot of people and a lot of my friends in it, and I had a really good time.
The first single from the set, Emotions, debuted on the Hot 100 at number 35 for the week ending August 31st, making it a top 40 hit out the gate. On September 17th, Mariah had an autograph signing session at Sam Goody's in New York.
There's absolutely nothing in the world that I would rather do than sing and write songs and be surrounded by music. It's everything to me, and it always has been everything. There's never been a moment in my life when I didn't know that this was it for me. This is what I wanted to do.
I have read that you were not an especially good student when you were in school. Didn't care much about it.
Well...
Yeah, and you describe yourself as a lousy waitress. Mm-hmm. You had like 20 waitress jobs?
Mm-hmm. Well, a few.
A few. And released from most of them, women?
Released,
yeah.
Kind of.
You had no fallback skill then. I mean, if this didn't work, what?
If I would have set out to be a singer and said, well, I want to be a singer, but I'm going to study to be an architect too, because just in case, it's like they're two all-consuming things,
Suddenly, this 21-year-old from Long Island was a major pop star, drawing big crowds when she made personal appearances. To date, though, she has not staged a live performance tour to promote her music, and none is planned for the near future.
Some people are just more comfortable in the studio. I'm more comfortable because it's a controlled environment, and it's a creative environment, and that's where I'm at my best. That's what I do. I'm an introverted person, and it's hard for me to get out there and be really Hollywood and really, ham it up. That's just not who I am. But I do want to get out there and see the people who've supported me and perform for those people and do the best that I can do.
The album featured cover art photographed by Philip Dixon depicting Mariah in The Desert Child. The Chicago Tribune's review of the set read, "Just a year ago, Mariah Carey burst onto the pop scene with a debut album that was a dazzling showcase for the young singer's 5-octave range and impressive songwriting skills. This time around, Carey's vocals are even more breathtaking. Just listen to one of those incredibly high notes on the title cut and current single, Emotions. But she really could have used more variety in her songs, all co-written by Mariah, which are dominated by a few too many slow, soulful ballads. However, there are plenty of winners, including the slinky, danceable You're So Cold and the upbeat, inspirational Make It Happen. Best of all are Carey's flights into gospel on So Blessed, reminiscent of her first hit, Vision of Love, and If It's Over, written with pop legend Carole King and performed in the style of the great soul ballads of the 60s. The Rolling Stone wrote, "A rookie's success, as spectacular as Mariah Carey's, tends to spark a backlash," and Carey was derided by skeptics who saw that Columbia Records had spared no expense in accessorizing her with the most dependable collaborators money could buy. Emotions addresses the perception of Carey as a fabricated star, as well as the comparisons to Whitney Houston, by giving the 21-year-old singer greater control. She wrote all the lyrics and co-produced all 10 tracks. While it sustains her stature as a pop goddess, Emotions demonstrates the hazards of such calculations. Like many young performers, Carey doesn't understand the value of understatement. I Don't Wanna Cry was the best track on Carey's debut album because her downcast whispers animated the song's luxurious sorrow. At full speed, her range is so superhuman that each excessive note erodes the believability of the lyrics she is singing. On Emotions, her eagerness to deploy her immense vocal range results in the overheated growling of Make It Happen, a teary tale of how she kept her religious faith despite hard times. Carey co-produced 4 songs with David Cole and Robert Clivilles, these serious pop dance maestros. But the partnership doesn't fly. Their beats aren't as unrestrained and joyous as they are on their work with Lisa and Cole Jam or CNC Music Factory. Instead, they back Carey with pumping house keyboards and shamelessly recycle the chords of Cheryl Lynn's Got to Be Real and the Emotions' Best of My Love to construct the bubbly new disco Emotions. On the other 6 songs, all ballads, Carey works with Walter Asanaieff, who produced Love Takes Time on her debut and also helped create Michael Bolton's bombastic soul. When the pace slows down, Carey does too, and Asanaieff can be an effective one-man orchestra. The moody grandeur of And You Don't Remember and Can't Let Go will sound great on the radio. There's a conflict between Carey's thirst for musical challenges like gospel choruses and light jazz ballad The Wind, which ends Emotions, and her dependence on commercial dance pop. Her goal is to elevate the top 40 tricks of Janet Jackson and Karen White with vocal greatness. On If It's Over, Carey even invokes the style of Aretha Franklin's classic Atlantic Sessions. Carey has spoken of Franklin as a hero, but there's an essential difference between their styles. The daughter of a preacher, Aretha imbues even her dullest work with the spirit of the church, whereas Mariah's mother was an opera singer, a background that translates into such excesses as the falsetto whoops that punctuate many of Mariah's songs. Carey has a remarkable gift, but to date, unfortunately, her singing has been far more impressive than expressive. The LA Times' Dennis Hunt wrote, "The funny thing about all those new Whitney Houston remarks that greeted Carey's hugely successful 1990 debut album is that some people meant it as a compliment and others used it as a dig. The reasons for the positive comparisons: Carey, too, has a voice that is able to hurtle over and around notes with almost acrobatic ease, and the music itself was so in step with today's accessible mainstream that big sales, given the right promotional muscle, seemed inevitable." Sure enough, the album is still in the top 25 after more than a year on the charts and has sold more than 5 million copies. The combination of raw talent and sales so impressed the record industry that Carey won a Grammy as the year's Best New Artist. So why the knocks? Like Houston to this day, Carey's debut album showed more technique than personality. In this follow-up, mostly featuring ballads done in an R&B gospel style with strong pop overtones, Carey's voice, with its spectacular high register, is still impressive. The problem, even more than on the debut, is the songs and the production. Perhaps heeding the criticism last time that the songs were too lightweight, Carey, who writes her own lyrics and co-writes her music, has come up with a bunch of overly serious songs, or she's groveling at some guy's feet. The lyrics are embarrassingly overripe, untempered by subtlety or irony, often sounding like bad, and in this age of sexual equality, unenlightened high school poetry. The biggest downer on this gloomy album is the closing tune, The Wind, which is about grieving following the death of a young loved one. Carey wrote the lyrics to music written by jazz pianist Russ Freeman. Listening to the spare, touching melody, you can understand why it attracted her, but with her tearjerker lyrics and dirge-like arrangement, her version is morose and muddled. Carey, who's only 21, isn't just a singer and composer, she's also a producer and arranger. 4 of the songs were done with the production team of David Cole and Robert Clivilles of CNC Music Factory. Their contributions do somewhat perk up 2 dance tunes, the title song, heavily influenced by the Emotions' 1977 hit Best of My Love, and Make It Happen, but neither number approaches the quality of any of the CNC material. Another problem is that on many songs, Carey's voice is too far down in the sound mix and consequently is somewhat overwhelmed by the music. This kind of mix is common on records by feeble-voiced dance music singers, but surprising on one by a powerhouse vocalist like Carey. Now, the good news. Carey does more straight-ahead singing and less vocal showboating this time, though those signature squeaks, borrowed from one of her idols, the late Minnie Riperton, still pop up far too often. There is one marvelous song on the album, If It's Over, co-written with Carole King. Yes, it's gloomy, but unlike the other songs, which are weighed down by sappiness, the lyrics are simple, direct, and unsentimental. Singing in an achingly slow gospel style, Carey cannily milks every ounce of anguish out the lyrics. The song reminds us that Carey is a formidable talent who may be inching toward that identity that Houston seems to find so elusive. But beyond this song, and maybe two other solid vocal performances, there's little evidence of that talent or vision on this album. Entertainment Weekly gave the album a C, writing, Mariah Carey came from backup singer nowhere to make a 1990 debut album, a radio-ready meltdown of happy dance pop and gospel-tinged ballads that raked in armloads of Grammys and attracted hordes of devoted listeners. While the songs are nothing earth-shaking, the 20-year-old Carey belted them out in a forceful, bravura style that made most of her MTV peers sound mush-mouthed. But like many a new sensation enjoying audience respect, Carey endured an equally vigorous backlash from critics who couldn't find the heart in her soul. Recalling the scorn that greeted overnight stars like Nelson, Wilson Phillips, and Vanilla Ice upon their arrival at the top of the pop charts, critics dismissed Carey's works as crowd-pleasing, pop, or vocal grandstanding. Cheerleaders for Carey's accomplishment and critics suspicious of her all-too-professional product agreed only on one thing: the girl has an amazing voice. So it's no wonder that her second record, Emotions, is out to prove that this singer is as sincere as she is well-trained. If anything though, Emotions ends up sounding colder and more calculated than Carey's debut. It ticks along like a Swiss watch, finely tuned, glossily assembled, filled with precision instrumentals and spectacular vocal turns. But the album has no drama to pull the listener along. Carey seems terrified of downtime. She reaches for epiphany on every cut, while she makes ample use of her technical gifts, sliding from soul shout to whisper to her famed ear-piercing, stratospheric shrieks. The hackneyed high school poetry of her lyrics holds no surprises. For most of the album, they either lament the recent departure of some cad or praise the next Mr. Right. The title cut, which is also the album's first single, percolates along in a mid-tempo celebration of new love. It's the first and only time on the record that Carey's up there squeals make emotional sense. She sounds as if she was too overwhelmed to put her passion into words. Elsewhere, Carey relies on her impressive technique because she has no other way to deepen or highlight the feeling of a song. She draws out the intro into You're So Cold with mile-long arpeggios set to a solemn march, promising all kinds of sky-high gospel gorgeousness. But the song turns into a sappy dance number that sounds trivial after the big build-up. Only if it's over, an End of the Affair weeper, co-written by Carole King, sounds like real life, as if the confused emotions it describes weren't already worked out before Carey set pen to paper. Carey talks a lot in interviews about her sincerity and love of music, and she may have both, but for all her soaring and singing, she has nothing original to tell us about romance. Emotions, like the singer herself, is the hybrid progeny of a venerable tradition, the tradition of the R&B diva and crass commercial instincts. It's gospel without soul, love songs without passion, pop without buoyancy. The Orlando Sentinel wrote, "A better title for Mariah Carey's sophomore effort might be Emissions. Carey has become so enamored of the ultra high-frequency part of her range that I'm starting to suspect she may be an intergalactic spy trying to re-establish communications with the far-off planet of dogs. If that's not the case, maybe Carey is trying to contact Minnie Riperton's ghost on Squeakfest, such as the title track, and Can't Let Go. Riperton hopefully will tell her to listen to some Etta James records to find out what soul means. Hint, it has nothing specifically to do with high notes, although they may be involved from time to time. Not that Carey spends all her time in the stratosphere. Why have a 17-octave range if you're not going to show off all the octaves by jumping between them in an acrobatic manner? The effect is kind of dizzying, but whenever she holds still for too long, you start to notice that the basic tone of her voice is decidedly breathy. Other than adding a few more gymnastic moves to her vocal routine, Carey hasn't changed her formula much since her debut. Motto: if it's quintuple platinum, don't fix it. Emotions is similarly divided between goopy ballads and generic dance pop, all co-written by Carey. At least this time, she has the CNC Music Factory guys working with her on some tracks, giving her a certain degree of trendiness on dance numbers such as Make It Happen and Emotions. Curiously enough, Emotions sounds pretty close to the group The Emotions' 1977 hit Best of My Love, which just goes to show you that disco is not dead. There might be a song somewhere in Carey's collaboration with Carole King, If It's Over. Unfortunately, there's so much vocal ornamentation, it's hard to tell for sure. As for Carey's attempt to conquer jazz territory with Russ Freeman's The Wind, well, I really like those subtle, gusting wind sound effects in the background. Safe to say the critical reception, much like Mariah, was mixed. On the 23rd, Mariah appeared on the Arsenio Hall show. She then embarked on a European promotional tour. She appeared on the September 23rd issue of New York Magazine. Her write-up read, in part, Mariah Carey is remembering the highlights of a trip she made to Los Angeles early last year. I met Michael Jackson, she says. He didn't know who I was, though. Jackson would have had to spend the rest of 1990 sealed in a hyperbaric chamber to stay ignorant of Carey. Her debut album, Mariah Carey, full of catchy pop hooks and octave-busting crescendos, spent 22 weeks at Billboard's #1 spot. The first single, Vision of Love, was everywhere at once, from boom boxes on the beach to in-flight airline sound systems. 2 Grammy Awards capped the breathtaking rise of a 20-year-old from Long Island who had been sweeping hair off the floor of a beauty salon barely 2 years earlier. Now, with Mariah Carey having sold 7 million copies worldwide, the singer sits behind a mixing board at Right Track Recording on West 48th Street, finishing her new album, Emotions. I still don't think of myself as a big deal, she says. There are so many pop fads. I can't start thinking of myself as a big deal. In some ways, Carey seems to have remained downright girlish, doodling on a legal pad with the greased pencil as she talks, drawing tiny red hearts all over the page. But it's clear Carey's trying to grow up and change musically. Unlike Whitney Houston, who's looked to hip-hop to spice up her slick pop sound, Carey looked backward for inspiration to the soul and rhythm and blues of the late 60s and early 80s, people like Aretha Franklin and Stevie Wonder. There's a rawness about those periods in R&B that's somewhat lacking today, she says, with a hint of irony. Emotions has a little bit of an older type vibe, a Motown feel. Horns and soulful guitar of Cornell Dupree, a veteran of some of Franklin's gems, punctuate the sassy If It's Over, a song Carey wrote with Carole King. She called and wanted me to do a cover of Natural Woman, Carey says. I didn't want to, because Aretha's one of my idols, and that's an untouchable performance. So King flew in from her home in Idaho and spent a day improvising with Carey. Fame has also brought in less welcome guests. Gossip columns have said Carey and Columbia Records president Tommy Mottola were making private music together. I read that stuff, she says. A critic dismissed her as another white girl trying to be black. Her father is black, her mother is white. As she talks about these bumps in the road, Carey starts jabbling a small square in the legal pad with the grease pencil over and over again, creating an oily red smear. Carey's certainly happy with her new album though, and she's shooting a new video to show her emotions. There'll be no tour, unfortunately. I like to travel, Carey says, but it messes up my voice because I have problems sleeping. With the rash confidence of a 21-year-old who's on top of the world, she says it wouldn't trouble her if Emotions bombed. The success of her first album has given her a sense of security. If I wanted to stay at home and write songs and make a moderate living, I could do that. I'm not worried that I have to go back and waitress.
Now in the morning when I rise, you are the first thing on my mind. And in the middle of the night, I feel your heartbeat next to mine. Oh, it feels like a dream when you love me tenderly. I don't know if you're for real, hey, but I like the way I feel inside my heart. You got me feeling emotions deeper than I've ever dreamed of. Whoa, you got me feeling emotions higher than the heavens above. Whoa, you got me feeling emotions deeper than I've ever dreamed of.
In October, Emotions hit number 1 on the Hot 100. It would stay there for 3 weeks. The album sold over 100,000 copies in its first week, earning it a debut in peak position of number 4 on the Hot 200. The album fared well overseas, appearing in the top 10 in 8 countries. This came as a shocker for some critics after the monumental success of her debut album.
This album is climbing the charts, and the title track, Emotions, has already hit number 1. The 21-year-old singer attributes her success to hard work and spiritual belief.
I don't remember a time when I didn't know that I wanted to be a singer.
At the ripe young age of 21, Mariah Carey is living out her earliest childhood dreams. But she says she's worked hard to make those dreams come true.
To an outsider, my success would seem to have happened overnight, but I really have been working towards this since I was 4 years old. And I left home at 17, and I supported myself as a waitress and a project girl and a hostess and all those things. And, you know, all the while I was in the studio until 7 in the morning, having a mother who was an opera singer, and she's also a vocal coach, and she's still coaching now. I guess influenced me in a lot of ways because it just showed me that it's really possible to become a singer.
Carey's self-titled debut album earned her 2 Grammy Awards. Some critics, however, said the album was overproduced, and Mariah herself acknowledges the possibility. But she says production on her new album, Emotions, is much more sparse. 2 things consistent on both albums: she writes her own lyrics, and she thanks God in her liner notes.
I don't go to church every Sunday and stuff, but I do really strongly believe in God, and I feel that, you know, he's a very big part of what's happened for me.
Another important influence has been Tommy Mottola, the head of Sony Music, parent company of Columbia Records, which is the label Mariah is on.
He is so knowledgeable about the music industry and music in general. He has really great musical ears and ideas and insight into the whole thing, which can be very confusing for someone just starting out. So he's really been an extremely influential person for me in my career.
As for her future,
I just want to keep singing and writing and growing as an artist because that's what brings me the most happiness.
A lot about relationships, and some people say there's a lot of sad songs on the album, but I'm just writing from my experiences and my outlook on life, and I think people can relate to that.
This number 1 only served to consolidate a success that started in 1990 when a self-titled debut album went quintuple platinum.
November saw the release of the album's second single, Can't Let Go. Cashbox Magazine, a U.S. trade magazine akin to Billboard, wrote in its review of the single, "It looks like Mariah, along with the rest of the CBS Sony staff, are preparing themselves for another Yes, another Mariah Carey hit. In our opinion, this should have been the first single taken off the album. Her voice still has that crystal clear sound that has hypnotized listeners of all sorts. This is another reminder that she would definitely be around collecting awards at the end of the recording year. Billboard magazine had this to say: expect Carey's radio and sales hot streak to be further extended by this rhythmic R&B pop ballad. Her now trademark vocal acrobatics are showcased amid gospel-spiced harmonizing and dramatically executed instrumentation. The single debuted on the Hot 100 at number 42 for the week ending November 16th. In 3 weeks' time, the single was already encroaching upon the top 10. The music video for the track saw Mariah in an evening gown with plenty of close-ups and black and white cinematography under the direction of Jim Sonzero. By the new year, it was aiming for the number 1 spot, but it stalled at number 2 for the week ending January 25th, allegedly because Tommy Mottola on a power trip had the physical singles pulled from shelves. December, the New York Times published an article about Sony Music's CEO with a headline reading, Sony Music's Big Spender, and an article that revealed he and Mariah were an item. That same month, she won 5 awards at the Billboard Music Awards: Top Pop Artist, Top Album Artist, Top Pop Singles Artist, and Top Contemporary Artist.
to thank God so much for the most incredible year of my life, and I love you too, and all the incredible blessings that have got me here. I'd like to thank Tommy Mottola for believing in me from the beginning and supporting me and always being here. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. Don Einer, I love you guys. You're the best. Columbia Records, my management, Horizon Entertainment, Billboard Magazine, everybody at sales and retail and radio. I love you. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for supporting me. I love you. I can't thank you enough.
When I got up on the stage and I was actually accepting my award, it didn't seem real, and I was just like standing there looking at all these faces of these famous producers and musicians and people out in the audience. It was really the most incredible moment of my life, and I mean, I can't imagine anything topping that. I really worked very hard for what I've achieved, and a lot of people wouldn't think so because I did have success at a very young age, but you know, I sacrificed a lot of things to do this. I wouldn't change anything that I've done, or I wouldn't trade this for the world. I mean, it's my dream come true.
So I don't really know what to say except thank you, God, for making all my dreams come true. I love you. I love you. Everyone in the industry for supporting me. Everyone at radio. All of you up there. Thanks for being here for me. I can't thank you enough. And that's
it. You know, if the music industry was a dance, you went from somebody being on the outside looking in to being Bella the Ball real fast. How do you deal with all the success so quickly?
I just really try to stay grounded and remember where I came from and why I got into this business in the first place, which is because I love music and I love singing, and I've been really, really fortunate to be able to have so much success so early on in life. So I'm really thankful.
Won an American Music Award earlier this week. I was there last year at the Grammys. You won there as well. How are the awards different? A Grammy and an American Music Award?
The American Music Awards are voted on basically by the public, and the Grammys are voted by the industry, by the committee, NARAS.
So which one means more to you? Or
Well, I mean, it's an incredible feeling to have the industry and all these incredible musicians tell you, we love what you're doing, we respect what you're doing, and that's the highest compliment. But it's also amazing to feel that love from the public and from the fans, so it's kind of hard to choose.
I was there last year when you sang at the Grammys, did very nicely, but you've sold 10 million albums and you haven't toured. I've seen you sing on Arsenio, I've seen you sing on the Grammys, but not in a club or in a stadium. Why not?
Well, I put together my second album so soon after I did my first album. It was like I really didn't have the time to go into actually put all my efforts towards getting a tour together, which most artists would have been doing while their album was having that much success. But I went right in and started producing and writing my second album without stopping. So I really don't want to rush into anything and put together a tour just to go on tour, because that's the thing to do. I'd really rather wait and do the right thing for the fans.
You say you're going to sing at the Grammys again this year?
Yes.
Are you nervous when you get in front of people? Because you're not, most artists come up through the ranks of playing in different venues.
Right.
You start in front of millions.
I know, it's really scary because my first TV show was Arsenio Hall, and it's like you really can't get much bigger than that. And I never came up from clubs or anything, so I'm still really shy as a performer. But I think this year I won't be as nervous as I was last year at the Grammys. I was a wreck. I couldn't sleep the night before. I was like, forget it, it was horrible.
Is all this fun? I mean, because many people say, God, I wish I were Mariah Carey. Or I'm sure you were, before you became Mariah Carey, you said, I wish I was, you know, one of your heroes. Is it fun?
It's incredible. I mean, I really can't complain. There are a lot of things that come along with it that maybe sometimes aren't so pleasant, but the thing that's really important for me is I'm doing this, and this is what I've always wanted to do. It's my dream come true, so I just have to really be thankful and go with it and try to appreciate every step of the way.
Now, one of the things that came with you, they compared you to Whitney Houston when you first came out. Did that bother you?
It didn't bother me because I really respect her as a singer, and when you first come out, people have to categorize you in some way. So it's like there could be a lot worse people they were comparing me to, but the most important thing for me now is that since I've achieved success in my own right as a producer and as a songwriter, as well as a singer, I just want to be taken for who I am as an artist.
Well, you mentioned something as a producer. You're up for Producer of the Year.
I know, I can't
First
believe it.
time out. I mean, how does that feel?
It was a total shock to me because this was my first effort as a producer, and Walter Asanaieff and myself were nominated, and he's a brilliant, brilliant musician, an incredible talent, and he's been around for a long time, and he really hasn't gotten the acknowledgement that he deserved until now, and I'm really happy and proud of him and excited for myself.
She appeared on Top of the Pops and Soul Train in early 1992.
Not more than 3 short years ago, I was abandoned and alone.
February saw the release of the final single, Make It Happen. Billboard magazine's review of this single read, Carey tones down the vocal acrobatics slightly and delivers her most appealing and effective single to date. Infectious pop house musical context is slick enough to keep radio fires burning, but tough enough to further develop her club profile. Spiritually uplifting lyrics are a bonus. The single debuted on the Hot 100 at number 74, and Can't Let Go had just departed the top 10. In just a week's time, Make It Happen jumped 32 chart positions.
Can't believe that I have to sing a song with Aretha Franklin sitting in the front row, Patti LaBelle sitting to her left, Stevie Wonder sitting to the right of both of them, and Barbra Streisand somewhere else. I mean, that's the scariest part of the whole thing. Those are my...
Any plans to come to Australia and share some of the music with us?
I definitely have to. I really want to get out there and give something back to the people who've supported me and gotten me this far, you know, but right now I don't have a tour planned, but when I do, I'll definitely be going there.
That month, at the 34th Grammy Awards, Mariah Carey was nominated for Best Non-Classical Producer in Female Pop Vocal. Unfortunately, she did not take home any gold, but she did perform If It's Over at the ceremony.
Won't you talk to me? This is so out of hand, out of hand. Something's gone wrong with the life that we were led. Yeah. Won't you look at me? You're holding my gaze. Yes, you are. And it seems like you changed in so many ways. Yeah. Oh, it is unfair, it isn't right. If it's really gone, then tell me tonight. If it's over, if it's over, Baby, if it's over, if it's over, let me go.
One of the greatest bodies and a vision of love. Please welcome Mariah Carey!
In February, Mariah appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show.
My mother's an opera singer and a vocal coach, and she's always like freaking out when I hit certain notes and going, you can't hit that, that's, you know, too high, how are you doing that? But I really don't know the exact range. People speculate, I'm not sure.
Okay, and when you hit it, when you have to, like earlier today when you were hitting that song and hitting the note, that that part, I don't want to hurt y'all. I sing it. When you were hitting that part, did you know you were going to hit it? Are there some nights where you wondering if you're going to get it?
Well, today I woke up with a cold, and I was so nervous that I wasn't going to be able to do it. So I did it, thank God, and did.
Thank you. Well, first of all, Mariah, Aaron's been around, you know, 20 years. You are 21. How are you handling this? I mean, quintuple platinum, mega bucks, contract deals.
It's, I guess it must be really hard for some people to really stay grounded while you're doing this, because having success at a young age or at any age can be overwhelming. But my mother really helped me and told me to believe in myself and that, you know, this could happen for me. And you know, I've just really hoped and worked very hard for it, even though it happened young. I worked very hard.
But I heard that you always knew this is what you were going to do because you had 20 waitressing jobs.
I said 20 once as an exaggeration, and like some guy wrote it, and now everybody says 20. But actually, I guess it was about 6, and they weren't all waitressing. Some were, I co-checked, and hostess and stuff like that.
Oh, great! But you always knew you were going to be a singer.
Yes.
Did you always know?
It's funny that she said Carole King, because she was also one of the people that I looked up to, and I had the honor of writing a song with her for my new album.
Really?
And I'll be singing it in a few minutes. So she...
Well, Mariah, can I ask you this? And I ask you this for everybody else, not because I really care, but I know this is the one thing I hear the most about you. I mean, everybody, especially when the first album came out, and Andre, my hairdresser, he got it first, and he was playing it, and it's all, you know, we were all singing to it, and I sing in the shower, and I think I'm you for a minute. I fling my hair around. But they all say, oh, this is a white girl, she sounds black. Oh, no, it's a black girl, but she isn't, she's white. No, she isn't, I think she's mine, I think she's one, I think she's a... So, what are you?
My mother is Irish, a person, first and foremost. My mother is Irish, and my father is Venezuelan and black.
Okay.
So I'm the
You have heard it here with y'all. Please stop discussing this girl's race. Thank you. Human being first, though, really. Coming up, this thought goes into what are you going to wear? Yeah. So when you go, is it really, Mariah, is it, well, whatever happens?
I've only been there once, and as I said, I was a nervous wreck the entire time. Not because of the winning, but mostly because I had to perform, as I said, in front of these people who are amazingly talented and been in the business for years. And I was so nervous.
I call her now on the line from Englewood, Colorado, and it's Julie. Julie, what's your question?
Hi, Mariah. It's great to be able to talk to you.
Hi, Julie.
Congratulations on two of your albums. I hope you have many more.
Thank you.
And my question is, when will the video for the song Make It Happen be released to MTV?
We're almost done with it, and hopefully it will be out. Hopefully it'll be at MTV this week, I'm hoping. So hopefully soon. The sooner the better.
All right, Marcus Nispel, you mentioned earlier, worked on it with you. Someone else who's worked with CNC, called Lewis and Cole. Jason calling now. Jason's from, is it Kutztown, Pennsylvania, Jason?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good. You got a question?
Yes, I was wondering, Mariah, the song, If It's Over, how did you get to work with Carole King on that?
Well, she's always been, you know, really an inspiration to me, especially for her songwriting. And, you know, I never would have contacted her because it's like, you know, where do I get off? She's a legend, and that's the way I look at it. But she actually called me. She called my management company and wanted me to do a cover of Natural Woman. And that's like one of my favorite all-time recordings. The Aretha Franklin rendition especially is my favorite. And so I really didn't want to do that. And she suggested that we get together and, you know, write some stuff. Also, I wanted to write all the songs on this album. So we got together and we wrote the song in like an hour and a half. And it was an amazing experience to be in the same room with someone of her caliber because she's so incredibly talented and so quick, you know, when she writes. It's amazing.
So what's up next for the rest of you? I know we were talking about the Make It Happen video we'll be seeing soon. Most likely, as you said before, the tour is going to wait at least for a while.
Right.
Anything else that...
Well, I have this week the Unplugged thing coming up.
Right.
And is that this week or next week?
Doing it next week. It should be on soon after that, I think. Yeah.
But I'm rehearsing this week and stuff like that. Then I'll probably have putting out another single, doing another video. I'm just really working with this album right now, and I'm going to be starting to write, you know, for my next album soon. And
any idea who you're going to be working with yet? Or?
I'm definitely going to be working with Walter, and maybe, you know, I'll do some more stuff with the guys from CNC. But I mean, that doesn't mean I won't work with other people and stuff.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and this has been great. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
March saw the songstress taping her episode of the MTV program Unplugged, a direct response to those still hissing about her being a so-called studio artist. I'll Be There was a rather last-minute addition. In April, she appeared on the cover of Young and Modern. Her write-up read, in part, "Chances are nobody in school knew what to expect when that stretch limousine pulled up in front. The girl in the limo obviously didn't know what to expect either. By her own admission, she hadn't been a great student. I was at a friend's house who lives near the school, and I said, all right, let's go by and check out the school. So I walked in to the left and went right into the girls' bathroom. Still the same. The old hangout might be the same, but things have changed for Mariah Carey in the 4 years since she graduated high school. Everybody wanted to know who the girl with the honey-colored curls and gold-tinted skin who looked white and sang black was. But she didn't have time to talk. She was busy working on her second album, Emotions, which was released last fall and ended up fighting her first album for chart space. First, there were those Grammys she picked up for Best New Artist and Best Pop Vocal. Then came the Billboard Awards. And so, Mariah Carey had to cut her visit to the old stomping grounds a little short. We walked in, and immediately people started going crazy. I had to leave because a bunch of students were pounding on the car, and I thought I was going to have to pay for it if it got messed up. She buttons up her lip when it comes to her love life, responding, ugh, when asked. I know your life is not your own when you're in this business, but some things I like to keep private. She's rumored to be involved with 42-year-old Tommy Mottola, who guides her career, but she will only talk about her 2 Persian cats. The black one is Ninja, the white one is Tompkins. April also saw Make It Happen's peak at number 5 on the pop charts. The video for Make It Happen was directed by Marcus Nispel.
You and I must make a pact.
On May 20th, MTV aired the Unplugged performance to an audience of millions, many of whom were inundated with the performance as it was rebroadcasted several times.
One of my backup singers, Patrick McMillan, introduced me to Trey like 2 years ago when I was doing my first album, and I was singing a song called There's Gotta Be a Way in the studio, and we were actually mixing the record, and I kept hearing
this guy singing the high notes, and I'm like, where's that coming from? I know I didn't sing that particular note, and it was him. When I did I'll Be There, it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing, and needed someone to do the other part, and so. I was doing the MTV Unplugged show, and I didn't have any plans to do a remake, and the people who do the show really, really wanted me to do a remake. So finally, at the last, like the 11th hour, basically, it was like a day and a half before, someone said to me, they really want you to do a remake. So I just said, I thought about it, and I decided on I'll Be There. And so then when we were doing it, we were rehearsing it, I said, this really needs another person to sing it, because I could have sung the whole thing, but I really felt it needed another person. So I asked Trey to sing it, and it just worked. And we had never planned to put the Unplugged show out as an album or anything out on video or anything. And it just happened to be that I'll Be There came out as a single. So, worked out great for me and for Trey.
I'll Be
Good, I feel nice. I've never been so satisfied.
Emotions, although not as successful as its predecessor, was still significant for Mariah. The title track is one of her signature songs. The album sold about 4 million copies in the US and about 4 internationally. The only thing really missing was a tour, and Unplugged supplanted that, whilst also supplying the songstress another #1. A win is truly a win.
A contemporary Cinderella story. Mariah Carey sings backup for Brenda Kay's star, who, at the modern equivalent of a ball, passes Mariah's tape to senior VP at Columbia Sony. On his way home, he listens in his limo, turns his carriage around, but alas, he is too late, until the following week when he finally tracks down his Princess Mariah. Knowing the obvious impracticality of a glass slipper, he offers her a record contract instead. Then magically, Mariah Carey has fame and fortune. To her credit, she also writes and produces, and she hits notes that many humans cannot hear. But as Kim Clark-Champness discovered, it was a bit odd that until her MTV Unplugged special, none of her millions of fans had ever seen her perform. And, that's basically the extent of my performing experience. I started out, being in the studio, and then all of a sudden it was like, there you go, you're up there, get on stage and sing in front of millions of people, watching on TV, and thousands of people in the audience, and it's scary. I wouldn't have been ready to go out after my first album, and it wasn't that long ago that I came out with it, so it's not like I'm fully ready now. But I just feel like, there's been more focus put on it than there really need be, because I do what I do, and when I go on tour, I want to make it right for the fans. I don't care about, critics or whatever. I care about the people that care about me. It was inspired by that era, which is basically like the late 70s dance music, and David Cole, Robert Clivilles, and myself were really influenced by, that kind of great old, dance, R&B, whatever, and that's where we were coming from. It was a lot of different songs and a lot of, basically an era. I know the way I want my music to sound, and I don't think that you have to necessarily,
You know, there's no difference between having it in your mind and having it come out the way you hear it. You don't have to give it to some big producer and say, here, do this, you know, do with it what you will. You know, I like to be there for every aspect of the recording process. So I'm getting into it, and I've been fortunate enough to work with some very talented people who are teaching me a lot in it.
Having sold over 15 million records globally, in a relationship with Tommy Boy, and with all her label and its parent company's attention, in August, as I'll Be There still charted within the top 20, Mariah, no middle name Carey, began recording her third album, one that would cement her already formidable presence as a vocalist, producer, and songwriter, all wrapped up in a nice, cute party dress. Thank you for watching.